ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, May 23rd. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. It's real simple. It's 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. Let's load up on some questions. We're going to hit those in a few minutes. We've got baseball to talk about as the Thundering Herd had a chance late, couldn't get it done. Marshall lost its first Sun Belt Conference game against top-seeded Coastal Carolina 4-2. Marshall did have opportunities and chances to win this game, so not totally down on the Herd just yet. Marshall now playing in an elimination game. Marshall's already suffered a loss. This is a double elimination tournament. So now every game for Marshall is an elimination game. We'll face off against the team it beat a couple of days ago in Louisiana. 7:30 is our tentative first pitch, and we're going to have that game with the voice of the Herd, Steve Cotton, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I had in my head that we were going to do that game earlier yesterday. I just had that in my head, but no, it's the 7:30 game tonight, and that's totally fine. Gives us a chance to spend the hour together, so grateful for that opportunity. And if Marshall should win, it's going to play a Saturday. Now, Marshall would have to beat Coastal Carolina twice. Can Marshall do that? That's the great unknown right now. Marshall's got to win out to get to Sunday and then have a chance for a championship. And I think Marshall getting to this point, that's pretty good so far. I think that's definitely progress for Greg Beals and his squad. This is a much improved team, and I'm optimistic for the next season, even though we still got baseball to play, and hopefully the Thundering Herd can get it done tonight and then get to Saturday. You got to go through Coastal Carolina eventually. You got to make that happen. So we'll see. But it was a 4-2 loss. Marshall did have chances. Marshall kept it close. Marshall, latter half of that game, started to find some rhythm. So hopefully the bats will come alive and Marshall can get some strong pitching and some strong relief these next few days. This is a marathon, but it's also a sprint, if that makes sense. You got to have some urgency. You can't lose. You're now in that situation. The pressure is on. You have to win the rest of them. But still, good spot for the Herd right now. It just would have been a lot easier. We're going to hear Greg Beals in just a few minutes. For those of you that couldn't stay up late, he spoke to the media after the game, so we're going to play that in its entirety. It's only a few minutes, so we'll give you a chance to hear what he had to say after the game. So we've got that for you. And, of course, we're starting to get your questions in, so we'll go to that in a few minutes with our text line. And we're doing that again if you just joined us. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Busy night in baseball. Last night, Cleveland got the better of Detroit 7-0. 7:10 tonight, it'll be Cleveland at Detroit. Also, Milwaukee beat your Pirates yesterday, 8-5. 6:40 tonight, Milwaukee continues the series at Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, we won't have that game, but fortunately, we do have Marshall baseball. So, as soon as the Herd is done in the tournament, and we're hoping it goes to Sunday, we'll be back on our regular schedule with Pirates baseball. The Reds were off last night. Tonight, taking on the Cubs, 6:40 is going to be the first pitch for that one. Also, NBA action last night. Minnesota lost to Oklahoma City 118-103. OKC now leads that series 2-0. And Indiana leading the series 1-0 at New York. Can the Knicks come back? This was a heck of a rivalry in the 90s. Can the Knicks come back and make it a series or go down 2-0? The energy was alive at the Garden for Game 1. I'm hoping that there's a similar energy there. I'm hoping the Knicks beat the Pacers. I want to see the Knicks in the finals. I don't know if I want to see a Minnesota-New York City matchup there. I don't want to say that's a bad matchup. I think I want to see maybe Oklahoma City in that. Minnesota's got some work to do. Either way, you want probably New York in that finals. Largest market, Oklahoma City, probably the more attractive of the two. Possibility there. I'm rooting for the Knicks all the way there. And then last night, They're killing me. They're killing me in the Stanley Cup. Florida, now I'm happy. I'm happy about this, but at the same time, I want some competition. I want a competitive series. Florida smacks Carolina 5-0. I don't even know what's going on with Carolina. They're becoming the Buffalo Bills of the Eastern Conference Finals here. Florida leads that series 2-0. We're going to have those games and tonight's game, the Edmonton Oilers at the Dallas Stars, on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. Those games all start at 7:30 p.m., so we're going to have a little hockey action for you tonight. The Stars lead the series 1-0. Hopefully Edmonton can come back and make that a series as well. Nobody's stopping Florida right now. Nobody's stopping Florida. Dallas might have a shot at this. I was hoping that Edmonton would be able to put up a fight. Possibility that still could happen, but right now, until otherwise proven wrong, it's Florida's cup to lose. So that's our night in sports. We've got Marshall baseball coming up. That will hit the airwaves, we hope, around 7:30 tonight. That's what we're shooting for, because right now we're keeping an eye on the game that's ahead of Marshall's, and that is Troy and Old Dominion. We're in the bottom of the third right now, and Troy leads that game 4-2. If you remember, Troy yesterday beat Texas State 4-2. And prior to that, Troy got beat by Old Dominion 4-2. And then Old Dominion got hammered yesterday by Southern Miss 10-0. So Troy trying to knock out Old Dominion and make it to Saturday. And then we have Louisiana at Marshall. Marshall beating Louisiana in its first matchup 9-5. Marshall had 5 errors in that game, still was able to hang on and not blow it. And then Louisiana went on and beat Georgia Southern 5-4. So eliminated Georgia Southern after Coastal Carolina gave Georgia Southern its first loss 8-1. So this is an elimination game for both teams. Can Marshall beat the team it played a few days ago for the second time, or can Louisiana bounce back, take out the Herd? That's the interesting storyline to me. We'll find out tonight with the voice of the Herd, Steve Cotton. But before we continue, we'll get your text in. As I said, we're going to get those lined up now. We've got a few questions that you're asking. And we're also going to hear from Greg Beals when we continue, get his thoughts on last night's game, what we can look forward to in tonight's matchup. We'll do that when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, the exclusive provider of sports medicine services to Marshall University Athletics, is pleased to offer walk-in clinics 6 days a week. Full-service appointments are available on a walk-in basis weekdays from 9 until 3, and a screening clinic is conducted Saturday mornings 8 to 10. No appointment necessary. For more information, call 304-691-1880. The Marshall Sports Medicine Institute, taking care of the Herd, taking care of you.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-505-8991, 800-505-8991, 800-505-8991.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Eubanks-Ming with the American Academy of Family Physicians. Bullies use power, strength, or popularity to hurt others emotionally or physically. And while you can't be with your child all the time, there are ways you can help. If your child encounters a bully, tell them to get to a safe place and tell an adult. You can also show them how to block online bullies. Teach them they can be more than a bystander and that they can help their peers. For more on bullying, visit familydoctor.org or talk with your family physician.
Welcome to the Maya Miguel Challenge. Maya and her friends want you to know that whether you play sports, run, dance, or jump in place, it's fun to get up and play an hour each day. Take the Maya Miguel Challenge today at letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for being a part of today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann, and our text line, which is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. To our text line we go. Texter wants to know if they're starting the work now on the shoey. Yes, I got some confirmation on that. I haven't had a chance to actually head over to look. Of course, that's going to be a big money raiser for the Thundering Herd here soon. If you're not that familiar with what's going on, the NIL money that Marshall's looking to generate is going to be supplemented partially through what the Thunder Trust is doing. There's going to be an end zone pass. You're going to get sideline access. They're describing it as elite views. You're going to get all-inclusive food and drinks. You're going to have indoor, outdoor, climate-controlled seating for every home game. Basically, the shoey is going to have a fan component. Now, you see this across college athletics. More seating operations are coming online to give fans a different perspective. I know they tried with the camera deck a few years ago. I wasn't necessarily a fan of that, not because I think it's a bad idea. It's just I don't think it was necessarily well thought out. Okay, you get a few tables there. You're part of the sky deck here. I like the sky deck being functional, but I get it. You have to find ways to make some revenue. Now, this isn't just a few tables tacked on the sky deck, and this is really going to be worth your money because you're going to get a different experience from the game. I think a lot of people will enjoy that. And it's not necessarily you're going to have the best view of the game because you're going to be in the end zone. So a lot of the action is going to be on the far side of the stadium, and you're going to be looking at the back end of it a little bit. But I don't think that this is about necessarily the very best view of the entire game. This is going to be like, hey, this is going to be a great place to watch the game, to socialize, and I think that's the aspect here. Great views when the teams are playing on your end. You'll get to see a lot of different angles. You're going to have the sideline pass, so there will be some different perspectives and angles for you as well. You're also going to have the social space. You're going to be well taken care of. Not too many suite options as the stadium is currently configured. So you're looking for a high-end experience, and this money is going to be generating NIL dollars, and that's what Marshall needs right now to stay competitive. So you got to find any and all revenue streams possible. I get it. They're calling this the premium day experience, premium game day experience. Now, how many people are going to give up chairbacks and move over to this seating arrangement? That's going to be interesting because that's going to open up some chairbacks as well then. So if you have chairback seating and you're looking for an upgrade or something different, you're going to maybe pull the trigger on this. Skyboxes, very rare that anything would open up there. So if you're looking for a different seating view, an elevated, upgraded experience, you're going to spend for the end zone pass $2,500. And you're going to get the experience of being on the end zone deck seating. Here's what the deal is. So you get in the game, obviously, VIP seating. It's catered. So you're going to be fed. You're going to be taken care of. You get the sideline pass, so you can get some sideline access. You get premium parking. 1 season-long parking pass included for every 2 end zone passes purchased. And so if you're looking for better seating, better parking, this is probably your deal. And if you decide to pull the trigger on this, and it's because I talked about it, you let them know. See if I can get a commission on that access. No, it should be a fun experience. They're building it up. There's going to be bathrooms there as well. You're going to be taken care of. And then maybe there can be some more work on the Sky Suites. I've always thought that Marshall shouldn't have stopped and if demand is there, you should add to the press box as well. Instead of carving up the space you have, they carved up some space in the press area to accommodate more suites. You should expand because you got the room there. You can build out, expand, create more premium space in the Sky Suite. If you have a waiting list and you have demand, capitalize on that. Build more. You can go small if you want to. Maybe you build a few out and then have plans to go further. But I've always thought that was an opportunity for Marshall. If you've got the ability to expand out and you have demand and there are people who want that seating and want that experience, then you should expand the press box as well. Then you can, of course, attack the other end zone with the party deck and the special seating there, or the party zone, whatever you want to call that, with the new proposed end zone seating, all of that. You can do all of this. You have to be smart about it, though, and I know money's always going to be an issue. Marshall University, you can't just start throwing money at things. Look what happens when you do. You get into trouble. So this is an interesting dynamic. You have a new experience that's going to bring fans closer to the action. You're going to also have the opportunity to be on the sidelines. So I know that's coveted real estate for a lot of people. Always want to be on the sideline, just close to the action. So I think you get the best of both worlds there. The text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. to be a part of today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Are you going to take advantage of that end zone seating, or have you already? If you've taken advantage of it already and you've signed up, let me know. What are they telling you get? And if you're thinking about it, let me know. 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So last night, Marshall lost its first game of the conference tournament to Coastal Carolina by a score of 4-2. What did the head coach, what did the man in charge say? Greg Beals. We're going to hear from him in a few minutes, get his thoughts on, I thought, a competitive game, but definitely a missed opportunity. And we'll get more from the text line as well when we continue with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Calling all steak lovers. It's time to fire up the flavor at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Introducing the Grill Master Weekend Special. Choose a juicy New York strip or a tender ribeye, cooked just the way you like it, and served with 2 signature sides, all for just $29.99. Big taste, big value, big flavor. But only on the weekends at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Savor the grill and celebrate the weekend like a true champion with the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue in downtown Huntington.
The soundtrack to your summer is back. Mountain West 9th Street Live. Downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition, presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. Kick off the summer this Friday. It's Warner Law Office Night with a Hooligans Homecoming pre-party on the Marshall OBGYN stage, featuring Sunday's Child in neon black. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for next Friday, May 30th, for the return of The Settlement. June 6th, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live, driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Chevrolet. Every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kinder Communications. This Friday, Hooligans Homecoming pre-party at Mountain West 9th Street Live. Be there.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter. When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Mike Engel here, West Virginia's premier Ford Bowtie guy, combining Memorial Day deals with employee pricing to save you more. We're talking up to $5,000 off on Bronco Sports and Broncos, or up to $4,500 off on the Ford Maverick or Ranger. We pay the highest trade values regardless of mileage or condition. New ownership, improved experience, and better deals. Visit us at University Ford in Huntington or online at universityfordwv.com. See dealer for details.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, And these 2 simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions. Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. We'll catch you Monday, 10:06 a.m. right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, and we do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's go with the first one, that basketball. Let's go with this text first. Texter says, "Hey, Paul, I know it was a tough loss as a Knicks fan. I'm going to say Pacers in 7 and OKC will sweep Minnesota. What is your prediction?" I'm going to go Knicks in 7. I'm on that bandwagon right now. I'm going New York 7. Go New York, go New York, go. And I'm going to say Thunder in 5. They'll fall somewhere. Thunder in 5. Knicks in 7. I just don't think Indiana can keep that pace up. They have been tough to kill, though. That's the thing about the Pacers. You think you got them down, and then they come back and they pull what they did the other night against New York. So I'll go 7 for New York. I go 5 for Oklahoma City. And then I'm probably going to take the Thunder in 7 against the Knicks. Pains me to say that, but I'll take the Thunder against the Knicks. But I will be rooting for the Knicks in that one. Also from the text line, "Hey, Paul, I didn't get a chance to watch the Herd game last night. Score was close, so was it just that we got beat by a better team, or we waste some chances to get the win? I heard about the errors, so it sounds like a missed opportunity." I think there was some missed opportunities there. The Herd got down early, battled back late, but couldn't finish the deal. And I think that's a great place to hear from the head coach himself, manager Greg Beals, as the Thundering Herd lost last night. Let's get his comments about the loss.
Yeah, tough loss. In the winner's bracket, the chance to put yourself in a great position in the tournament with a win tonight. I think the bottom line is we gave them too many freebies early in the ball game, and against a really good team like they are, you can't help them out, and we helped them out a little bit early in the game. I liked how our bullpen worked. Peyton Jackson and Luke Pearl came in and put some zeros up on the board and gave us a chance offensively. A slow start for us. Give Fluky, their starter. He's obviously a really good college pitcher, and give him credit. But we missed some pitches that we'd like to have back. Had us on our heels just a little bit, and we weren't as offensive as I like to be. But I like to fight in our ball club down the stretch. We strung it together there in the 8th inning, got a couple runs, had the go-ahead run in the batter's box. So we had ourselves in position late in the game, and just a hit or two away to getting that thing tied up.
Yeah, Coach, and just kind of following on that, you said it's a double elimination tournament. How do you feel like that 8th inning can kind of carry over into tomorrow?
Well, I have no concerns about our guys being ready to answer the bell tomorrow, and we've responded all year long. This is a tough conference, so everybody's tough. There's competitive toughness all the way around, and I'm sure Louisiana's going to be ready to go as well. So our guys will be ready on tomorrow night, and it'll be a good ball game, and I look forward to see how we respond.
And then just kind of talk a little bit more about your relievers. Really seemed to they had a little success early, but down the stretch, you guys really closed the door. They had opportunities, but you guys limited their chances.
Yeah, we rolled a big double play there. Peyton Jackson got a double play, and he was hitting with both his pitches, fastball and the slider. And on the heels of Griffin Miller throwing a bunch of breaking balls, the fastball that Jackson brought to the game today was effective. And then the same with Luke Pearl as well, as hitting with the fastball and hitting the head of the count. And as many breaking balls as we throw in this game today, the fastball is still number one, and those guys in the bullpen prove that.
Coach, got a question from Zoom here. Has this team developed the mindset you were seeking earlier in the season when a 4-0 deficit would have been, a little disheartening? That's from Tim Stevens, the Herald Dispatch.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. That's a great question, and obviously you followed our ball club, and we've grown a lot. The culture of our program has grown significantly. The competitive toughness on this team, we have core values of competitive toughness, and we have a core value of family, and these guys are playing for each other, and playing for Marshall University, and there's no quit. It's something that as a coach we try to instill. These guys have embraced that.
And then just to follow up there, I mean, based on the all-conference list, arguably one of the better pitching staffs in the league, and every one of your hitters managed to get a hit. All 1 through 9 got a hit.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that in the box score. And again, Coastal Carolina's a good baseball team, and they've got 40-plus wins, and they're nationally ranked for a reason. And that pitching staff is a big, big part of it. And everybody they have in that pitching staff brings something. Even the guy at the end, the breaking ball is good, and we knew it, and we were sitting on it, and still got beat by it. So, they've got a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and their pitching staff is the strength of their ball club.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just bringing that up. 1 through 9 gets a hit. Everybody made adjustments. Everybody had an approach. What do you see in that matchup with Louisiana tomorrow?
Well, I don't know who they're starting yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet as far as putting a game plan together. But, the main thing is that we stick to our approach offensively, each one of our guys. We have individual plans for our players, and we'll have a plan that will match up against our opponent as well. And we just got to stick to it. We got to stick to it. Today, Fluky hit with that breaking ball a few more times than we were expecting, and we chased it a little bit, and he got us on our heels, and we just got to make sure we stick to our guns.
There you have it. That's Greg Beals, his update on what he thought he saw last night, and we've got a plan now for Louisiana. We'll have that game. We hope that we get on time with the game. And, of course, follow along. We'll be on social media. So if you follow me on X, if there's any time updates, we will go and give those to you. The game against Troy right now in Old Dominion, the game that's in the bottom of the 4th right now. So it's not progressing as fast as I'd like that one to do. So we'll hopefully get an update on that. It can move along a little quicker. We should be on the air, I'm hoping, around 7:30. So that's our game plan. Stay tuned to social media, at Paul Swann for me. You can also follow the voice of the herd, Steve Cotton. He's the man on the ground. He'll have all the latest information. So if you want to follow along with him, he will definitely be the best source for that. Or you can follow us both. I'd appreciate that either way. So our text line, you want to get into this one tonight, 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255 is our number to be a part of the show. So I think Marshall's got a shot here. They can beat Louisiana again. Did it before, can do it again. It just comes down to, can Marshall beat Coastal Carolina twice and get to the championship game? If you beat Coastal Carolina twice, you definitely belong in the championship game, but that's going to be the challenge. And I don't want to overlook Louisiana, but I will look to Saturday, and that's there's no shame there. If you can't get past Coastal Carolina and you get to Saturday, and you gotta get to Saturday first for a shot to Sunday, and Coastal Carolina is the reason why you don't win. That's not something that I would be hanging my head about, but that's where you're at. That's the benchmark you're looking at right now. Like, Coastal Carolina is good. How do you get this program to the point where you can be Coastal Carolina? Off to a good start. Finished ahead of expectations. You got something to build off of. Now, hopefully, you can keep the roster, the core intact, add pieces to it. Again, we get to this point of the year after it's all done. Name, image, likeness, transfer portal, all of that. That's going to have impact, and it's going to be more important now than ever to see how well this coaching staff can keep the team together and add parts to make it better. And in a climate where if you're really good, you might look elsewhere. You might look elsewhere for an opportunity if you're really good. Or you like it at Marshall and you want to play ball for the Thundering Herd. I think that's the challenge right now. You find really talented athletes that want to stay. But on the flip side of that is, if you have really talented athletes and they want to elevate themselves, they're eventually going to find a crossroads. They're going to have to look at, okay, I've been here a long time. Now do I go elsewhere to finish out and have an opportunity to play for something higher and get some significant income in the process compared to where I'm at right now. That's the challenge for baseball. It's a challenge for everyone. And I hate the fact that it seems to have ruined the experience a lot more. Once upon a time, you would just lose out on the top athletes, but you would get good guys, and you could put together a really compelling team, and a player that wanted to maybe transfer up had to sit out a year. So it wasn't necessarily something you thought about as much unless you were just that really good. The thing for Marshall was when it was FCS or 1AA, players could drop down and play immediately. So if you had a player that was really good but wanted to play, they could drop down, come to Marshall, play right away. And Marshall at that point in time, significant value at the 1AA level. So players were getting seen, players were being found, and there were players making it to the NFL. Maybe not the high first, second round draft picks on the regular, but you were seeing players make it to the next level, and that was because they got the opportunity to drop down and play immediately. Now this is the transfer portal. In effect, I want to be seen, I'm playing here, and now I can transfer up or transfer to somewhere else where I'm going to have a bigger paycheck, more playing time, better opportunity, and it's going to hurt the schools like Marshall a lot more. So it's honestly the relationships that Marshall coaching will have to make with the players that will keep these teams intact. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Final segment's coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Tackle those lawn patch and repair jobs with help from Menards. Scott's Easy Seed Patch and Repair Mix is a blend of mulch, seed, and fertilizer, making it perfect for sunny or shady areas. Save big money on Scott's Easy Seed Patch and Repair Mix now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Get ready to hit the road with Gomart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the Gomart app to see this month's featured item, and as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to Gomart.com for more details.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Nori, and when I was young, my mom opened our home to someone who needed a secure and safe place. She taught him what it was like to have someone care about you, having dinner at home or going out to eat together.
In West Virginia, families open their homes every year to adult family care.
Some folks need a little extra help, but everybody deserves a family.
Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an adult family care home finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude,
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple 100 years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, and these two simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions. Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's our final segment for today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And we've got plenty of time for you. Our text line, it's brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 as we head into the long Memorial Day weekend. Big plans? What you got? I know racing is big. I'm not a big Memorial Day racing guy. I know I should be. We got the Indianapolis 500. Well, we got the Coca-Cola. I'm not just a big racing fan. I will watch a little bit of the Indy. Not much of it, but I will watch a little bit of the Indy. I do like the open wheel. I mean, it's a tradition, right? At least that's what I'm told. It's an old race. It's been going on for longer than I can remember. It was around. It was old when I was born, and it's been going on ever since. Strong, sold out. Should be fun, and I just don't know if that is my plan for sports on Memorial Day. But what are your Memorial Day plans? I'm kind of curious, so we'll open that up here in a minute. So we get to the text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Baseball action tonight. Can the Herd get it done and beat Louisiana for a right to get a rematch with Coastal Carolina and try to win two? Or will this be the final night for the Thundering Herd? It is an elimination game. Every game for Marshall now is an elimination game, so a little added suspense. Can the Herd get it done? That's the good thing. At least Marshall didn't get eliminated yesterday. Can learn for some of its mistakes. But Louisiana is in that elimination mode as well. After Marshall beat Louisiana, they've had to get into that mode. So is it better to face a team that you've lost to, or is it better to face a team that you've already beaten? That's a big question for me. That's a huge question for me. Also, from the text line, which Herd players would you think will appear in a Coldcats uniform? You would think I'd have some insider knowledge here on that one. I haven't gotten the roster yet. We're going to have, here in a few weeks, there's going to be an opportunity for us to talk to Tommy Gregg and the rest of the staff here, get an idea of who's going to be on the team. We'll meet some of them. But right now, we know that the coaching staff is the same. Tommy Gregg's going to be the manager. You're going to have Roger Hill as the hitting coach. Salomon Torres is going to be pitching coach. Justin Gomez is going to be joining the team as the fourth coach for the 2025 season. The roster hasn't been released yet, but you want to know who I think's going to be on the roster. And I'm hoping that a couple of Marshall's heavy hitters are going to be on that roster. I'll give you who I think's going to be there and who I would like to see there, because I think those are going to be completely different. First of all, all, who I would like to see on the roster. Micah New. I want to see Micah New on the roster for the Cats. Why? It's because he would bring a lot of excitement and a lot of intensity right off the bat. So he's someone that I would like to see. I would like to see Bryce Blevins. Also, I think I want to see Griffin Miller. Those are just the obvious ones for me. But if you look at this, those are names that might not need the extra work. So who could use maybe a little bit more work? Who could use a little bit more reps maybe? So I would have to look at the roster and think to myself, okay, who would I like to see actually get more? And I'm not going to lie to you, I think I would like to see a little bit more of Marshall pitching. To be quite candid with you, I would like to see a little bit more pitching on the Cats roster. But so I'm hoping that maybe you could get a guy like Blevins, get him a little bit more work. Is that fair to say? I think I would like to see Griffin Miller get a little bit more work. So those would be my two top there from the pitching side of things. I don't know, Charlie Krebs maybe? Put him in there, get him a little bit more work. I think those would be my three guys I would look at maybe as far as something. Well, you know what, Clint Moak. Let me not overlook Clint Moak. I'm sorry. Clint, I'm sorry. I would go Clint Moak maybe a little bit more. But if you're looking at batting, as much as I think it would be great to see Micah New out there, do you think that you might see a few guys that have not had as much time in the lineup get a little bit more? This is an opportunity for them to develop, give them a little bit more opportunity to kind of get out there. But if you're looking at maybe who could go out there, I don't know. I would say that's a tough one. Ethan Murdoch maybe? Maybe give me Murdoch a little bit more. Because, the obvious is Micah New. That's selfish of me. I just want to see him out there more. Get him out there, get him a little bit more. But if you go with some of the other guys that maybe haven't had as much time out there, I think that would benefit them more and benefit Marshall. But as far as just wanting to see some exciting players out there, I would like to see Micah New. I'm going to find out. I'm going to try to take advantage of some of that insider knowledge and see if I can get our general manager, who's just an office or so down from me. I'm going to try to go in his office. Actually, you know what? His door's open. I'm just going to go rifle through his desk and find the roster. I probably better not do that because management might not take kindly to that, but if you don't tell them, I won't. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for being a part of it. I appreciate everyone. You can follow me on X at Paul Swann or other various social media networks. The link is there on the profile. Podcast available later on tonight at WRVC.com and podcast providers nationwide.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRVC, W231BS Huntington.